Production support for the weekly special provided by WTIU members. Thank you.
We're on the road again, this time at the Bill Monroe Memorial Music Park and Campground.
This week, the music park is hosting the Bill Monroe Bean Blossom Bluegrass Festival. And we have stories of music and fun for you tonight.
And stay tuned because we'll also hear from the father of bluegrass himself, thanks to some never-before-seen archival video. It's coming up right now on the weekly special.
Hi, and welcome to the weekly special. I'm Joe Wren. We're right in the middle of things here at the Bill Monroe Music Park, where the 45th annual Bill Monroe Bean Blossom Bluegrass Festival is going on. The festival is the oldest continuously running bluegrass festival in the world, and it honors the father of bluegrass, Bill Monroe. And to find out more, we go over to Pam.
Thanks, Joe. I'm here with Dwight Dillman, the owner of the Bill Monroe Music Park and Campground. How long has this been here?
Well, Bill Monroe bought the park back in the 50s, and I've owned the park since the late 90s.
Okay.
Bill had actually passed away. I bought it from his son, James Monroe.
Okay. Is this one of the biggest festivals in the country?
Right. This is the longest and biggest running festival in the world.
And people that are coming in from out of town, do they have the option of camping out here or just coming for a day or 2 days?
Either way, they can come for a day, or they can bring their tents and camp, bring their camper and camp.
Mm-hmm. Do people just jam all the
time?
A
lot of jamming, all night jamming. They sit around their campfires and pick, and a lot of good cookouts, a lot of eating and picking.
I can smell it from here.
Right, good.
All right, Dwight, thank you so much. I know you're a busy guy, but we look forward to the rest of the weekend here in Bean Blossom for the music festival.
Thank you, and everybody come on down and see us.
Absolutely. We'll take it back over to Joe.
Thanks, Pam. And now we visit with Colonel Jim Piva, retired Indiana State Trooper and longtime friend of Bill Monroe. Jim is the curator of Bill Monroe's Bluegrass Hall of Fame here at the music park. We get a tour with Jim, and he tells us how he came to be friends with the father of bluegrass.
I came down here to Bean Blossom 50 years ago, to be exact, in 1961, to hire Bill Monroe to play for a banquet we had with the State Police Department, which was a 3-day pistol match that we had back in those days. And during the middle of that match on Wednesday evening, we always had a banquet for the competitors, and they had some form of entertainment. Somebody suggested I come down here to Bean Blossom to try to hire Bill Monroe, who at that time was on the Grand Ole Opry, of course. And so I brought my wife and 3 little girls down, and we took a seat in the front row of the old Jamboree barn. And Bill came out on stage with his band and played his theme song, which was Watermelon Hanging on the Vine. And when they started playing that music, the hair stood up on the back of my neck. And I hired Bill for that banquet, and we started coming down here to see his shows. So he kind of watched my 3 little girls grow up on that front row, from little kids to young women. And when we started camping down here, he suggested that we take that spot where we still are, so he could come over and have coffee with us and have a meal now and then with us, you know, while we're here at the festival. So Bill was really more than just a friend. We kind of had a family type relationship with him, and we continued coming down here. And in 1977, he and the band came over to my campsite, and all dressed up in their stage gear and with their instruments, played music, told me to stand up, and I did, and he handed me a framed certificate, which was a lifetime pass to Bean Blossom, which I cherish yet today. Here we are in the Bill Monroe Museum and Hall of Fame, Bean Blossom, Indiana, and it's a collection of artifacts, photographs, clothing, and things that you would expect to find in a museum, all related to the career of Bill Monroe and his bluegrass music. Interesting little sign here. Birch Monroe, Bill's older brother, ran the jamboree for him. And Birch was, I think you would say, fiscally conservative. And this was his main advertising during a show would be to put this sign out by the road here, out in front of the property. Big day and night show, and that meant there was something going on at the Jamboree Barn. Again, in this room, we have more country stars represented who were on the Opry or who played music with Monroe. This man with a 6th grade education who out on his own, traveling the highways in a station wagon, put together a sound, a music that has now become popular to some degree all over the world. I think that's quite an accomplishment. I don't know of anybody who had more respect for the people who would pay to come see him perform. You'd be surprised at the variety of people who come to bluegrass festivals. You know, the ordinary people would say, or the ordinary person probably would think, well, it's a bunch of hicks, you know, and people like that. But you meet everybody from ditch diggers to surgeons, all the way through. Every walk of life is represented. And they all have the common interest in the music and all get along wonderfully because of what Bill created. Probably 75–80% of the people who live in Indiana don't know where Bean Blossom is. But all the bluegrass fans in the world know where it is. It's that kind of a place, you know.
Bill Monroe's Bluegrass Hall of Fame is open daily from 9 to 5. Find out more at beanblossom.us. And don't forget, later in the show, we'll share with you an interview with Bill Monroe himself that was shot 25 years ago, along with footage from the 1986 festival.
I can't wait to see that.
Well, for now, let's continue our exploration of the music park.
Right, and like Jim mentioned in the last segment, much of the experience over the course of the 8-day festival is the fellowship between bluegrass enthusiasts.
So let's head into the campground to meet the folks who have traveled from around the world to be here this week.
Hi, my name is Natalie Sumter, and I am one of the managers here at Bill Monroe Music Park and Campground.
Okay.
And you're going to go, remember where the road goes downhill?
Yeah.
Right. The crowd that comes here to the festivals is a unique crowd. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm Tom Chatton. This is my wife, Wanda. We come for the Bluegrass Festival. My wife likes to read, and I like to pick, so we have a good time.
I'm Barb Winborn from Southeast Iowa. We've been coming to Bean Blossom for about 8 years now.
This is the first time we got to stay the whole week.
Yeah.
We're so excited.
Normally we come up for a couple of days and
This time we're here for the duration.
Go down, around, in the valley, and back up on the other side.
People come from all over the country. You can just drive around, you'll hear them every place. And you just walk right up and join in or sit and listen.
See? There's my bed.
Now don't worry about your shoes. That's no night in the mountain.
She says we're here.
We have 2 old cats. They are so ready. They love to camp.
wash out, only it just flips open and it becomes a tent. And instead of renting a golf cart, we brought our scooters with us.
Come on, little girl, put the sundress on. Let's head up the holler at the Bluegrass song. She likes picking the pin in rain and snow.
Love it. It's a neat community. You meet friends. The campers on all sides of us are like family.
It's kind of like you aren't here all by yourself. You're with a lot of people that know you.
I think it's ribeye, but I didn't pick it out.
And man, that's a good feeling.
Next up, we leave the music park to bring you a story of art and engineering coming together.
An intensive week-long guitar building class took place at Indiana University earlier this month, and we were there to see and hear the results of the students' hard work. For the past 7 years, Mark French has been teaching guitar building at Purdue University. For the first time, he has brought his hands-on workshop to Indiana University, teaching a diverse group of people how to build their own solid body electric guitar.
And they start at the beginning of the week, Monday morning, with a kit that has rough machine parts in it. It has a body that's cut out just roughly on a computer-controlled router, and then a neck that's roughly cut out on a computer-controlled router. And then over the course of the week, we transform that into a completed electric guitar.
One student, Rebecca Lowe, has been playing guitar casually for a few years, but has never taken on an endeavor like this.
I'm getting a lot of experience using some tools I've never used before. Of course, any heavy-duty power tools they assist me with. I definitely want to walk out of here with all my fingers. So, but yeah, this is the first time I've really built something like this on my own. So it's a good feeling.
Lowe works for one of the local organizers of the workshop. She hopes this workshop will be an annual event in Bloomington, expanding to even more students next year.
Hoping to do this workshop every year. And we'd like to see the program grow and get more people interested. We've been taking lots of pictures. So hopefully next time around we can have a group twice this size and more people can get to enjoy the experience of building a guitar.
At the moment I saw the advertisement through informatics, I felt like I really want to take this because I'm playing guitar for a while and I want to know everything behind it, like electronics and woodcraft.
For local musician and experienced woodworker Steve Johnson, what he creates in this workshop will only be the beginning of his guitar building.
I view this as sort of a first learning exercise, and after this I'll go home and make another one, more personalized version of it. So I want to end up with something that I can play and something that doesn't look too bad, and this is just what came together on that.
For Lowe, once her guitar was completed, she realized the intricacies of wiring an electric guitar.
There were many hard parts since we last talked. Soldering, wiring, things I don't know anything about like that. Definitely needed a lot of assistance there.
While many of the workshop students are experienced musicians, some have never picked up a guitar in their life before building their own.
There's been lots of times where I've seen people holding their new instrument that they made, and it's a perfectly good electric guitar, and they'll look at me and go, I really ought to learn how to play one of these things. That happens all the time.
Besides guitar classes for adults, French also teaches simpler classes for kids as young as 9, as a way to incorporate science and engineering into their life.
And we're using this kind of thing as it turns out to be a very compelling way to interest kids in science, in the STEM subjects, science, technology, engineering, and math.
His next stop is Pine Village Elementary School near West Lafayette, teaching an instrument building class to 5th graders.
I've learned a few chords. I mostly play kind of some rhythm guitar. I've never really devoted a whole lot of time to learning more than just that, so I'm hoping this is going to be my little piece of inspiration.
Back here at the Bill Monroe Music Park, another group of students has been hard at work at the Youth Bluegrass Bootcamp.
Offered to children of all ages and skill levels, the kids work with experts to learn how to play, sing, and perform.
The title Boot Camp might sound a little misleading at first, but enter the gate and perhaps Boot Camp is right.
Guys, mandolins right here. Guitars here.
These kids are serious about learning bluegrass.
Okay. There aren't a lot of kids that play bluegrass music anymore, so to have them all come here in one place, and then they build friendships here.
Wasson rounds up around 75 students during the Bill Monroe Bluegrass Music Festival into 3 different groups according to skill level for banjo, guitar, fiddle, and mandolin. Each group learns their set of songs before performing together on the Bean Blossom stage.
There's a lot of pressure. I mean, you only get 2 days to learn multiple songs, and you really got to kind of work at it, and you got to pay attention. You have to have a willingness to learn.
Okay, they're going to play 3 notes basically, 1, 2, 3, and then everybody comes in. So.
Parent Penny Lane Deersing says it's powerful to watch the kids progress.
Because you watch them go from little groups to this huge group, and it's just amazing. I mean, it's just amazing. And to watch the children, and at nighttime they walk around the campground and they're jamming, and they just walk up and these little kids are playing this stuff, and it's just amazing. You look at them, they're like 8 years old, you know, beautiful.
Learning bluegrass isn't easy, but achieving the challenge of performing a song is part of the reward.
So he was more of a rock and roll guy, and I said, Carson, try it out. And he went to the first lesson the first day and said it was extremely hard, but he loved it, and he's been coming ever since.
The other part is sparking an interest in carrying the tradition of bluegrass music. Zach's 10 and has been playing 4 months.
I like to hunt, draw, and play banjo.
This year he is with the beginner banjo group.
I think 17.
Olivia has been part of boot camp since its inception 6 years ago.
I have a lot of it on my iPod. It's kind of embarrassing sometimes. We'll be at a party and we'll put my iPod on shuffle, and Jimmy Martin or something will come on. I'm like, ooh, no one else here appreciates that. Better change the song.
Olivia never had a teacher. Boot camp is the only instruction she's had. That's what motivates Wasson to work with these kids every year.
I get a lot of pride that I'm working with a group that's able to do what they're able to do. Tuesday on stage, it's going to be amazing. Seeing the parents watch their kids, that's a lot of fun.
Finally, the moment has come. The hard work pays off. The reward, much more than the round of applause.
I plan on coming to Bean Blossom for the rest of my life and making my kids do boot camp, and I'm just going to keep it in my family.
For Wasson, her work is done. And now, last up tonight, we've located a treasure trove of Bill Monroe video that has never been seen before anywhere.
That's right, exclusive to the weekly special. We now take you back a quarter century to the 1986 Bill Monroe Bean Blossom Bluegrass Festival. And we'll hear from Bill Monroe himself from his farm in Tennessee.
All right, guide your tongue now, and we'll just shove it back here so we can put the meat through it. I like to get out and walk, you know, and get exercise, and I like to do something every day. I like to work and do something every day. It's hard to work on a farm and do the work like it should be done. I like to drive mules and horses. Yeah, I was raised out about 1.5 miles from Rosine, Kentucky, back on a farm. I had 5 other brothers. 5 brothers and 2 sisters. They all could play. Some, my sisters, they couldn't play much. We sung in church a lot there at Rosine, Kentucky, and played for old-time square dances. A little later on, you know, I had my group together and called it the Bluegrass Boys. Kentucky was called the Bluegrass State, and they raised bluegrass up there. Well, to let the people all over the world know, that I was from the state of Kentucky, I thought if I used the name of Bluegrass, why, they would know that I was from Kentucky.
But it wasn't until the Bluegrass Boys hit the airwaves on the radio that people started to take notice.
I started in Asheville, North Carolina on WWNC and went from there to WFBC in Greenville, South Carolina, then moved to the Grand Ole Opry. To get to be on the Grand Ole Opry was great, man. To know that I could be on a station where everybody could hear it, and know where I was at, and they could hear it every Saturday night. And it helped me a lot with the music. I can play fiddle very little, and I play guitar some, but mandolin is my favorite instrument, one I can play the best.
The Bluegrass Boys have experienced a lot of success over the years, but there has always been a lot of change in who makes up the group. But Bill says that's a good thing.
Oh, they stayed about 3 years. That's the way all of them did back in the early days, That's as long as I would want them to stay, because I wanted new entertainers and to help other people, as I went along. So there's been, I'd say, around 35 or 40 different lead singers with me, the guitar players, and between 35 and 40 fiddle players and banjo players the same way. And it's been like a school of music Bluegrass has. It's helped a lot of people get started where they could learn good music and make some money out of it.
Even at this stage in Bill's career, he was still promoting his craft.
I hope that people up in Indiana are saving their money and only going to come to Bean Blossom and be there at the festival with me. Because this is going to be the 21st year there. 21 years, and I'm looking forward to it. We got a powerful lineup with talent going to be there.
Another morning, another day. Still I'm feeling the same old way. I'm still missing you.
The talent back in 1986 included a bluegrass group called the Whites. This is Sharon White singing. She's the wife of another well-known bluegrass performer, Ricky Skaggs. But no matter how great their own talent, they all pay homage to Bill Monroe.
It's because of Bean Blossom and Bluegrass that we're in the music business. And in 1971, at the Bluegrass Festival here in June, that they always have, we came here not as a booked band, but just as spectators. And back then they had contests and had open stage where they would let people, bands get up and play and sing, and they invited us to be on stage. And we got up a couple of different times during the weekend and played and spent a lot of hours in the park playing music. And Bill Monroe and his music have meant a lot to us, really been an influence.
Another performer at Bean Blossom that year was banjo player Doug Dillard. He was an original member of the bluegrass group The Dillards. They were often seen performing on the Andy Griffith Show in the early 1960s. He paid his respects to Bill Monroe as well.
He was the man that I got most of my inspiration from for bluegrass. Yeah, he sure was. And I got the chance to go back to the backstage of the Opry one time and got a chance to play with him back in the early 50s when I was just getting into it, the bluegrass banjo. And I was really thrilled, to be able to play with Bill. Yeah, Bill's been my buddy for a long time. I love him and I love his music.
In spite of all the praise and success, Bill Monroe managed to live a humble life.
But as far as ever being rich, I've never cared nothing about that. I just like to make enough money to live good on and enjoy life. That's all I've ever cared about.
Well, there might be just one more thing Bill cared about. He was very proud to be called the father of bluegrass music.
That makes me feel good, to know that I originated the music and they call me the father of bluegrass music. That makes me feel wonderful. Well, I don't think it'll ever die. I think it's here to stay, and I think that there'll be people coming along with it every year and will play it. And I think there'll be people that want to play just as pure as they can play it. And I just hope it's here to stay.
This rare footage comes to us courtesy of Jim Krause and Michael White, so our thanks to them for sharing it with us tonight.
Absolutely, that is so cool. And of course, we'd like to remind you that you can see segments from tonight's show as well as past episodes by visiting our website, theweeklyspecial.org. From there, you can also link to our Facebook page for behind-the-scenes photos, news about upcoming episodes, and access additional content, including more Bill Monroe archival video. And a reminder to come on down and join in the fun yourself. Bill Monroe's Bean Blossom Bluegrass Festival runs through this Saturday.
Thanks for joining us here on the Weekly Special. We'll see you next time.
My tears begin to flow. You know I cried, broke down and cried when I heard that old lonesome rooster crow. That's when I cried.
Production support for the Weekly Special provided by WTIU members. Thank you.